rolling.
Hi there. I am standing in the middle of College Memorial Park Cemetery in Houston, Texas. This place is a major piece of history with graves stemming from the 1800s. It's over 100 years old. I'm going to be speaking with two guys that are doing some really special work to take care of the cemetery, and they're right this way. This is Randy Riepe. Hi, Randy. How are you? And Lamont Grogin. Hi, Lamont. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
Now, we were just looking at this grave over here. You say that this is the oldest grave in the cemetery?
It's certainly the oldest marker that we've got with 1896 on it. The oldest recorded grave that we have is 1897, that one we've got actual record of. And it's also in this area, and haven't been able to find a headstone for that particular one yet. So this is the oldest headstone that we've uncovered.
Okay, so this place is literally over 100 years old, and it's right in the heart of Houston, very close to downtown, and on the edge of River Oaks, which everyone knows to be Houston's most exclusive neighborhood.
Correct.
I want to take a shot over here just to show the proximity of these homes in the middle on the back side of the cemetery. How did this come to pass?
Well, the cemetery started obviously long before all the homes were here. This was on the very edge of Houston's 4th Ward in the late 1890s when it started. And it was started by a group from Freedmanstown that was freed slaves that had settled in Houston. And it was the Baptist burial ground for the freed slaves and their families.
For the freed slaves. Boy, what a piece of history. The thing I noticed as I was walking through here is that the ground is so unlevel, and I couldn't help but notice these mounds that exist. Let's walk over and take a look at that.
Okay. And that looks like David Locke is there.
Oh my gosh, we
He
already
lives
have a
on the
visitor.
edge.
You know this guy?
Yes.
Hey.
Randy.
Good to see you again.
Hey, my name's Robin Craig. How are you?
Nice to meet you, Robin.
Good,
David Loftus.
good. We're shooting some footage for my web show called Robin Craig Live. Did you just happen to be walking through the cemetery? Or?
Yeah, I walk my dog Jake through the cemetery every morning
Oh.
and kind of keep an eye on the cemetery because I live right at the corner.
And what makes you feel a need to keep an eye on it?
Well, we've had some theft of headstones. When I was a younger man and I first moved into the city, there were these big angel headstones that have been taken. And so I feel like it's something that I should do.
Is that why you came? You saw my car?
Yeah, I saw your car. I thought I'd come out here and see.
That's amazing. Isn't that terrible that people would steal the grave markers?
Oh, it's terrible.
So what do? Stick your dog on him? Can we get a shot of Jake over there?
Jake's over there.
Can
He's
you
not
see
really
Jake?
much of a guard dog, but he's a great companion. He'd probably leave the fighting to me. But.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's a big dog, so if I were taking a grave marker, I would beware when I saw good old Jake over there.
Yeah.
Well, Randy, what's the deal with these big humps out here in the ground?
Well, some of the low spots in the ground are where the graves have collapsed. Unfortunately, the mounds that we see running through here, there's one down here as well. They're right along the old cemetery road that has gone through the cemetery since it was started in the 1890s. In the probably late 60s, early 70s, when the cemetery no longer was functioning, it got overgrown and people knew no one was looking out for it. Lost a lot of respect, obviously, and they came out here and dumped their trash.
Oh,
Are
so
you
these
telling me
are,
that this was trash?
Yes, this is a mound of trash that has been covered by time with dirt and plants,
Oh, my.
and we've got several of them through here.
I tell you, I was taught to have respect for the dead, and I feel that it starts with taking care of our cemeteries, and it's really disheartening to think that people would come out here and put trash and steal the grave markers.
exactly.
They'll pay.
It's
They will pay.
long term, that's right.
I know. Well, one thing that I found
no
really
reward.
interesting, and this is something that I wanted to share with the viewers, that we all that there are a lot of nonprofits, and you can form a nonprofit for virtually anything, but I never realized you could form a nonprofit to help take care of a cemetery, and that's what these guys have done. How long have you had a nonprofit?
Just a few months, actually. It takes quite a while to get things set up. It was an interesting legal battle. Obviously, the title to the cemetery, since it wasn't active for 40 years, was in a little bit of question. But the original incorporated cemetery company that was incorporated in 1956 still existed, and so we had to bring that corporation back up to date. We then converted that corporation to a Texas nonprofit. Then we changed the name of the corporation to College Park Cemetery Association, and we have applied for a 501c3 application, and that's been going on for quite a few months. I think we're now finally to our last letter back and forth to the IRS. We've got one little bylaw change to make, and we should be good to go.
The red tape will be
Red
out
tape
of the
will be
way.
done, out of the way. We've already established an account with the Greater Houston Community Foundation, so we can start collecting donations.
And you guys come out here, what, once a month to just mow and weed eat and cut branches and so forth?
Right,
Correct.
clean up.
Yep, exactly.
And especially
Every
after
second
the hurricane.
Saturday.
I started to, you read my mind. I was thinking about Hurricane Ike.
Right.
It's now been 2 years since the hurricane.
Yep.
What kind of damage occurred here?
Well, I don't want, Randy put together quite a group, and I know you were out there, but there were, part of this is green space as well, and there were a lot of trees that were down, and we had to cut a lot of trees and haul off probably 80 yards of it.
It was
two big
we
container
lost.
loads.
Yeah, we lost 30 trees during
30
Hurricane
trees.
Ike,
Wow.
and you can see it. It barely made a dent
I know that.
in the overgrowth.
I don't know
of the
what it
trees
looked like
here.
before, but I'm not missing those trees.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And so how many people come out at a particular time?
Yeah, I've got a email group of about 80 or so that I send emails to, but our normal crew is between 7 and 10 people. And that's every second Saturday. And we get out here 8 to noon to try and beat some of the heat. And mow or chainsaw. There's always picking up trash. There's, little piles of sticks and so forth. It's never ending. You can imagine it's like trying to take care of a 5-acre yard where you're only working once a month.
So this whole area here is 5 acres.
Correct.
Okay. And I noticed there's a fence line. I see apartments. I see really tall buildings. What's on the other side of the fence?
In the 1890s, the other side of the fence was the other half of the cemetery. There was 10 acres here originally, and then in 1908, there was a court ruling where the eastern half was no longer to be used as a cemetery. The people running the cemetery in the early 1900s apparently didn't get the word out, and so there was some burials on what is now the other side of our fence. And by the 30s, that stopped.
Are they still there?
Probably not. In 1968, there was a court ruling that said all of the bodies that were interred on that side of the fence had to get moved to the active cemetery because the owners at that time wanted to sell the eastern half to an apartment developer, and that's where the Allen House apartments were built in the late 60s, early 70s.
Oh my gosh, I remember those. Hi Jake, how you doing, boy? You all right? You coming to visit today? What a good dog. We're dressed alike. We're wearing gray. Well, let's take a look. Show us some other interesting things, and let's just take a look at some of the graves as we walk through.
Nice to meet you, Robert.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for not arresting us and sicking your dog on us. So we won't take a thing
Thanks for
except some
guarding,
footage.
All right.
Have a great day.
You too.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's take a look and see what we can find of interest through here.
Yeah, there are lots of little things. You can see the pipes that are here.
Yes.
There's a cemetery law that if you put a border around your plot, nobody can move the bodies that are in there.
Oh.
Apparently, that's an old Texas Texas cemetery law. So that's why there's so many of the family plots have little borders around them.
I wondered
You
about
see.
that.
So that's the reason for that.
So it was to keep people from being able to move a grave
Right.
if they
So
were
if-
outlined with a border.
Correct. So if you know, somebody's grandchild said, "Well, I don't want granddad buried there anymore. Let's move him over to cemetery outside of town." That couldn't happen in this particular
Wow,
location.
that's interesting. I never realized that.